Hey, this is Mark again. I've got another financial lesson for you. A lot of times I'll get a question from somebody in their 20s, 30s, and 40s that is not married. Their kids are either grown or they don't have any kids. And they're wondering about, Mark, do I need life insurance? And used to be I'd say, no, you probably don't need a lot of life insurance if you're single and you have no responsibilities. Of course, if you got a ton of debts and if you die with those debts, your estate's going to have to deal with that. That's not going to be fun. But you won't have to worry about it. That won't be your problem. But a lot of people say, well, if I'm single, do I need life insurance? And here's something that you maybe haven't thought about before. There's a couple companies out there, and I won't talk about product, but have really made life insurance a very attractive thing for single people that don't have a beneficiary necessarily that needs the money. Yes, if you have a death benefit, it can go to a charity, it can go to your cousin, it can go to your parents if they're still alive, it doesn't matter. But here's how life insurance can help you while you're alive, and it's called living benefits. Now, permanent life insurance, cash value life insurance, has living benefits. And I won't talk about that on this video, but those living benefits would include tax-free retirement income, building a pot of cash that you can access anytime for unexpected expenses, etc. But what I'm going to talk about today is term insurance. And term insurance is you buy a policy, say for $250,000 or $500,000, and you buy it for a term of years. A 10-year term policy, a 15, a 20, or a 30-year term policy. And so if you're 35 now and you buy a 20, so you're 35 years old, and you buy a 20-year term policy, and you may pay for $500,000 if you're in good health, and I'm just throwing out a number there. I don't know, $300 a year. So you're paying $300 a year for those 20 years. Year 21, though, you're not going to want that policy anymore. Why? Because your premium is going to go from $300 to maybe $15,000. And you're going to drop that term policy like a hot potato. Remember, you only bought it for 20 years. It was $300 a year for those 20 years, but year 21, that policy is going to jack up the premiums, you're going to drop it, and of course, you're not going to have any desire to keep it. So that's what a 20-year term policy is. Let me just grab this. So that's what a term policy is. Now, what are living benefits? Why would a single person ever consider a term policy if they don't really need the death benefit for someone that depends upon them for income, etc.? Well, the living benefits are, say you're 45 years old, you buy a 30-year term policy, and it can be for $500,000, it could be for $1 million, whatever you want. Obviously, the bigger the death benefit, the larger the premium. But this is something to consider if you're single and don't really think you need life insurance. What happens if you don't die? What happens if you just get sick? You have a terminal illness. Well, some term policies out there, and there's only one or two, will actually say, you know what, you can accelerate that death benefit, and we'll give you a portion of it. And this is, say, for example, if you have 2 years or less to live. You can accelerate this part of that death benefit and get cash today. And why would you want cash today? Well, you ever heard of the bucket list? You got 2 years to live. You'd love to travel the world. You don't have the money to travel the world. You can take part of that money and go travel the world. Maybe there's an experimental procedure that they do in Mexico or Russia or England that is not approved by the FDA here. And you don't have the money to go do it, and your insurance company isn't going to pay for it because it's not approved in the U.S. So you can take some of this money and say, you know what? I don't need the death benefit. I want to get some cash today to help me live, and maybe I can get through this terminal illness. So one of those benefits is accelerated death benefit for terminal illness. And that's if you have less than 2 years to live. Of course, if you get that experimental treatment in Russia, then you'll live forever. Now, another reason that you can tax some of this death benefit, again, a living benefit while you're alive, is if you have a heart attack, cancer, stroke, go blind, get ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease. There's 2 or 3 other ones. Kidney transplant, or kidney failure, I should say, and a major organ transplant. So these are some of the things that can happen to you. You don't have to be terminally ill, just have a heart attack. Most of us are going to live a long time, even a stroke. But since you're single, you may want to tap some of that death benefit, whether it's $1 million or $250,000 or whatever. You may want to get some of that money while you're alive and use it for any purpose. So it's a living benefit from a term insurance policy. So if someone's single and wondering, do I need life insurance? Well, no, you don't need life insurance if you've got nobody depending on you for income. But what about you? Think of number 1. What happens if you need a living benefit? Is your health insurance going to pay you part of this for terminal illness, to do your bucket list, travel the world, or get experimental treatments that aren't approved by the FDA, therefore your insurance company will not pay for them? Or if you just have a heart attack, now no one wants any of these things, believe me, but if you do have a heart attack, kidney failure, or any of these other things, you can access your policy and get an advancement on that death benefit, either take it in whole or part, and have money to spend as you need to and as you wish to. It's totally yours. So that's one reason why a single person without anybody depending on their income may want to consider a term insurance policy that has living benefits. That's the lesson today.